So those were some amazing, like I say, the stars were born, and I think Hollywood should take that story and run with it, because it's pretty amazing. And another kind of amazing story, and the Brothers Four are returning in this May for the 50th anniversary of the Brothers Four in Japan.
In Japan, right.
And as I had sort of talked about at another time working with Yoko Kasdell, I talked about a fellow that came up, this is several years ago, and it said, because of the Brothers Four, and this is a Japanese man in very practiced English saying, because of the Brothers Four, I learned English. Because I learned English, I did well in school. Because I did well in school, I went to the university. Because I went to the university, I got a good job. Because I got a good job, I met my friends. Because I met my friends, I met my wife. Because I met my wife, I got my kids. Because of the Brothers Four. And I guess I would love you to talk a little bit about just the nexus of the Brothers Four, kind of coming to Japan, and sort of what it's meant to you, and the significance of the group in that country.
Well, it's Greenfields was a #1 selling record in 1960, and the Japan music market lagged about a year to a year and a half. So it was not until 1962 that we were invited to come over for our first tour. And it was a couple of concerts in Tokyo, plus a nightclub engagement in Akasaka, not far from the Capital Tokyo Hotel where we used to stay.
The old Hilton Hotel.
Yeah, the old Hilton Hotel.
Yeah.
And I think that I always thought, well, isn't it nice? We're going to be able to tour and visit Japan one time. So we'll be exposed to the Japanese culture.
Right.
And then, you know, it'll all depend on whether we have another hit record.
Yeah.
During that first visit, we were contacted by a young Japanese woman who said, by the name of Akiya Kojima. And she said, I would like to form a friend club, not a fan club, because fanatic is not, we are not fanatics. We wish to be your friends because we love your music and we like the kind of people you are, and we would like to support you here in Japan when you are not in this country.
Right.
And that friend club is still together to this day, as you know.
Right.
And the Brothers Four Friend Club will certainly be there in Legion, I'm sure, for the group's performances when you return in May. But the loyalty, 50 years of loyalty.
Yeah.
And these faces, these familiar faces, have always greeted us, welcomed us to the country, and been there when we completed a tour to say goodbye. We look forward to seeing you the next time. And there are not many relationships in life that last that long or run that deep. Right. And so I'm very appreciative of the support and the friendship. It's just most unusual.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's, I feel so lucky in my life and my career to have had you as a partner and as a friend and now as a neighbor. But when you had, after 45 years, you had decided that you were ready to retire.
Yes.
And Bob Flick, another founding member, has decided that he wasn't ready to retire.
That's right.
And that he wanted to keep the group
together
and going strong.
Right.
And so my friend Mike McCoy, who I have sung with, so we started singing. We formed our little group in college, same fraternity as you guys, the Fijis, but he has been in your place, stood in your shoes since 2004.
And doing a wonderful job. When I come to your concerts and I watch Mike, you know, with special interest, because I can tell that he's serious about doing the best job that he is capable of doing, and he does it beautifully. And he makes a conscious effort to become one of four. You know, it isn't as if this is my platform for me to do this. I want to further the group and its reputation and do the best performance I can. And I think that that's always been the strength of the Brothers Four, is the blend, the harmony, the togetherness that the group exhibits.
And I agree. And one of my strong, fond memories is you walking from your place to our place, and here was McCoy, and you were showing him your licks and the way you'd done it for all those years. And here's McCoy, my friend of all these years, paying attention and playing it very much in the Paine style.
Well, from my perspective, I owe all of these wonderful experiences to the singing group. Yeah. So the least I could do was try to convey to Mike what I did and how I did it, and then give him the option of whether he wanted to do that same thing or whether he chose to interpret it in his own fashion. Right. And I was very flattered that he's stayed pretty close to
the John Paine style.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, that's flattering to me.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that's made this one of those times in a life is to be able to take that friendship with McCoy and my solo work and work with the Brothers Four and to have all the clothes seem to fit really well right now and to kind of weave those different strands into a tapestry together. So it's been fun, and to have those kind of memories to be weaving together into a tapestry.
Well, it's pretty special. Look what it's given the two of us.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. And one of my favorite memories was at Christmas time, and I'm going back, I think it's 3 years, and so you, well, I guess first of all, one of the nicest things about Japan is that Scott, your oldest, was able to be there, revisiting, going in some of those steps of that first trip.
Yes. Yeah, for my last trip to Japan,
was there for your very last
joined
trip.
me, and we retraced some of the old paths that we had followed, going clear back to '62. So at least for a few weeks, I could share that experience with him.
And then you were able to share it with Liz, your daughter, a couple of years earlier. But the memory I have, maybe one of the strongest, is Liz, your daughter, has two sons.
Right.
Christian and Kevin.
Yes.
And you gave us a call at our house, neighborly house.
Right.
And they had, you have two guitars, and each of your grandsons had one of them in their hands.
Yeah.
So I brought an extra guitar, and the four of us sat around in a circle.
Yeah.
And we sang, just different songs.
Yes.
But my memory was kind of looking at Christian and saying, did you know that your granddad had the #1 song in the world 50 years ago? And he's going, no, I didn't. Well, you did. And then we sang Greenfields.
Yeah.
And then I looked at Kevin and I said, did you know that your dad sang at the Academy Awards? And we sang, I said, I don't think so. And then we sang Green Leaves of Summer. And then I looked over at Liz, who was sitting with Chris, with her husband. And I said, well, is there any song you'd like to hear? And she said, it's been 23 years, which was at her wedding when we sang Turn Around.
Yes.
And for us to sing Turn Around. And I couldn't really look at her.
No.
because of the emotion. But to me, that kind of, it talks about, here were 3 generations, all that music, just that way that it kind of connected, and that just the impact or the influence and that part of life. I think that they're one of the true Brothers Four legacies for me is that music, and the group really forms a circle around whomever is part of it. And there's not a lot of pretending. There's not a lot of pretension. There's just a truth about it that is there in the music, and is especially there in the sharing of that circle. And I've always appreciated that story of how you discovered music for the first time.
Oh, well, that goes back a couple of years. No, I was in the 8th grade, and I had come in after school, after class, to do a little, get a little additional help with a Latin class.
And this is in Wenatchee?
In Wenatchee, where I grew up. And I had just finished a Latin assignment and walked out of the classroom to the empty halls of my junior high school, where I was going to school. And it was dark, but in the distance was this lovely, lovely music, some 2- and 3-part vocal harmony accompanied by a ukulele. And I thought, someone must have a radio. And I literally had to follow the music. I walked down that dark corridor in order to get closer to the music. And where the junior high school merged with the high school, there were 2 or 3 high school students singing Up a Lazy River by the Old Mill Run, the Lazy, Lazy River, and the Noonday Sun.
Wow.
And I was hooked.
Yeah.
Man, I started saving my allowance money to buy a ukulele.
Wow.
And taught myself to play a uke, and from a uke it went to a baritone uke, and a baritone uke to a tenor guitar, and a tenor guitar to a standard guitar. So, but that's, if it had not been for that happening, I'm not sure I would have pursued music.
Well, it's been an amazing career. It is an amazing life, and I just am filled with such gratitude that you invited me along, that I've been able to be part of it, and that be able to help sustain that legacy that you have created, and just love you, and really happy to share this journey with you.
Thank you. As my wife Gail would say, that's a two-way street, Cupcake.